G'day and welcome back to the channel. So does your hip hurt when getting up from sitting on a chair? Well, if it does, I want to talk to you about why that might be and give you 3 things that you can do to try and make that pain go away. And if you're a member of the channel, there'll be an extended version of this video with 1 extra exercise that you can try to hopefully help that pain feel better. So let's get into it. So if getting up from a chair consistently makes the front of your hip feel sore, the first thing we need to figure out is whether it's actually your hip that's the problem. Clinically, for me as a physiotherapist, you can absolutely have specific pain or discomfort at the front of your hip when you get up from a chair. But the reason why that may actually be there could in some way be due to lower back dysfunction. Anatomically, one of the main hip flexors that cross the front of the hip anchors into the front of the lower back. And mechanically, if there is some subtle lower back dysfunction, that can prompt your hip flexors or any tissue through the front of that hip to be tighter and more restricted than it otherwise would be, which in and of itself can contribute to pain and dysfunction at the front of the hip when you get up from sitting. It's important to understand that sitting itself is quite a taxing position to be in for your lower back and your hips. Not only are we often stuck in this same sort of 90-degree seated position, but it can be very easy for us to relax and slouch or sink through that lower back, ultimately loading it up, with the net result potentially being dysfunction at the front of the hip. Now, because we may spend a lot of time throughout our day sitting, it doesn't necessarily afford us the luxury of getting into deeper hip ranges or getting out of those flex positions in more of an extended shape to open up the front of that hip. So any exercises that we do that try and solve pain at the front of the hip when you get up and walk around, we need to pay attention to both areas to make sure that we're not missing something. And more importantly, if we're trying to figure out what is genuinely important for you to do to solve this problem long term, it's important that we're very results based, so you don't have to guess, you don't have to trust me, and you can factually figure out what you need to do to feel better. And for me clinically, I find the best way to figure this out officially is to make sure that we do a test and a retest before and after each one of these exercises to see which one has the biggest impact on your symptoms. So the obvious test and retest to do here is to legitimately just sit down for a little bit and then stand up, see how you feel. If you need to walk around a little bit to expose how that hip feels, please do that. But it's important that we do this before and after each exercise to rule in or rule out, or at the very least emphasize which part of your body is the underlying cause of this dysfunction. And with that being said, the first exercise that we want to touch on is that we want to explore what role hidden lower back dysfunction, tightnesses, stiffnesses, restrictions, are having on the function of the front of your hip. So in my work as a physiotherapist, I find that using a foam roller or a lacrosse ball are by far and away the most accurate and most specific ways to self-diagnose and self-treat hidden back dysfunction. There are obviously a million different ways that you can stretch and mobilize your spine and the soft tissue around that, but I haven't necessarily found any techniques yet that do a better job of this than using a ball or a foam roller. Because ultimately what we're looking for when we're trying to solve hip pain that comes on from when you're sitting to standing is we want to go looking through the individual segments and joints of your mid to lower back to look for anything that feels tight, stiff, restricted, especially when compared to the other side. And it's because those hip flexors anchor to the front side of your spine that any restrictions or dysfunctions through these areas can ask those tissues for help mechanically. So in this video, we're going to put the foam roller aside and we're just going to use the trusty lacrosse ball. And where we're going to start is we're going to start, as always, at the base of that rib cage. So almost in the middle of your back and maybe a fraction lower. We want the ball right in the middle. Again, we want the ball from where the bumps are in the middle. We want you to immediately roll off that bump onto the fleshy part. You'll absolutely be over the top of some muscle tissue, but we're ultimately looking underneath that for the joint tissue. And from here, we just want you to lie down. You can obviously do this leaning up against a wall or sitting in a chair, but as we always go through on the channel, we want you to spend some time on the spots that feel the most stiff, tight, restricted when compared to the other side. And it's really important you compare it to the other side because you may have no sense of pain or tenderness when you do this, but we're looking for that mechanical handbrake. Do you feel like the ball sinks in easier on this side? When you roll it across over the bump to the other side, does it feel like it sinks in easier on that side? We want you to spend time on the spot that doesn't feel like it sinks in as well. Spend 30 seconds here, a minute here. Ultimately, we're trying to give this tissue a chance to relax and to soften. And then once you've done that for however long you feel you need to, then you can systematically start working your way down your spine. Just move it down an inch or a centimeter, go looking for the next spot. Spend some time there if you need to. Get working your way down as far as you feel you need to go so that you feel like you are uncovering, capturing, and ultimately mobilizing any restrictions you feel in this area. Clinically for me, there is a very good chance that if you are experiencing pain in your hip when you get up from sitting, that you will have some sense of hidden dysfunction through there, that when you free that up successfully, you should immediately feel some sense of improvement when you stand up from sitting. So if you feel like freeing up your back genuinely made the front of your hip feel better, then the next conversation we need to have in this space is, why is that part of your back a problem in the first place? You don't deserve to be stiff, tight and restricted there. If you are, it has to be there for a reason. And as I alluded to at the start of the video, typically the main reason why a specific part of your back may become restricted or dysfunctional may have everything to do with the position that you put your back into while you're sitting. Whether you are someone who slouches, or you sit and lean forward a lot, or you just relax and you feel like that's where the hinge goes in your back, with potentially a little bit of a twist to bias that side, then not only do we need to find a version of an exercise that you feel frees up your back, but we may ultimately need to rearrange your environment or your ergonomics, or even just improve your awareness of being back into better, more consistently even shapes, paying more attention, trying to develop the endurance to be here more consistently. If it is a challenge for you, you can roll up a towel, jam it into that part of your back that you would otherwise hinge through to force you into a better position for longer and support you in that better shape. And then once you've explored what impact freeing up your back has on your hip, the next logical step is to give you an exercise to see if we can free up some of the soft tissue and the capsular tissue at the front of your hip as well. So once you've figured out the potential impact of lower back dysfunction on your hip pain when getting up from sitting, we now obviously need to figure out what role your hip is having on your hip dysfunction. And while there's a lot of soft tissue and capsular tissue at the front of that hip that could be contributing, there's one exercise that you can do that can capture all of that at the same time in a really convenient way. And that is some version of the kneeling hip flexor stretch with a band. So what I'd like you to do is, if you can get a band, attach it to something sturdy, you want to hook that band up, right up into the gluteal fold, just underneath your butt cheek. And then kneeling in this position, we want you to take as much tension on the band as you feel comfortable, so that the band is pulling your hip open from the front. Now, obviously, if you have an issue with kneeling, you can absolutely do this sitting off the edge of the chair. But if you can tolerate this, maybe with a pillow or a towel under your knee, it's an amazing way to go hunting through the soft tissue, like your hip flexor tissue. But by attaching the band to the back of your hip, it also allows us to access or bias the hip capsule tissue at the front. And the good thing about a kneeling hip flexor stretch is that in this position, being up nice and tall, squeezing your glutes, keeping your trunk vertical, we can lunge back towards the band and try and open up the front of your hip into a hip extended position. From here, we don't have to go directly towards the band. We can go off on one angle, we can go off on another angle. You can also have your foot further out or your foot further in to bias different parts of the front of your hip. But your goal, your mission, is to find which angle gives you the best access to what you feel is restricted at the front of your hip. Once you've found it, we want to do that P&F or contract to relax stretching, where wherever your tightness is, try and tense that up, make sure your glutes are squeezed. Hold that tension for 5 to 10 seconds so that when you relax, it'll give, and you should be able to go further into the stretch than you could before repeating that process until you get sick of it or you stop making change. This is a really powerful way to open up all the tissue at the front of your hip based on what you feel is meaningful. The other amazing thing about this is that while we talked about freeing up your back, which is essentially above your hip, fitting some slack down into that hip from above, by having a chair behind you, we can also turn this into a modified couch stretch with a band that also tries to free up any of the soft tissue tightness underneath that hip. It might be robbing you of some natural slack from below. Again, this is an advanced version, so please make sure you feel comfortable doing this first before you progress to the next step. But how it looks is you want to try and get your knee back into the corner of where the base of the chair would be, making sure that your shin is relatively vertical. Again, being in this high kneeling position, and then essentially coming back into the same shape that we were doing with your kneeling hip flexor stretch. But now that we've bent your knee and put a lot of tension through your quads and your thigh muscles, you might find it suddenly feels a lot tighter than it did before. Same thing though, we still want to make sure that we're either linear or looking in different directions to find where the best version of your tightness is. Before doing that, contract, relax for 5 to 10 seconds, letting it go. Going back a little bit further. Again, you can still press your hip forward if you need to, but we're still trying to bias that tension and then relax. And then what you should hopefully feel is immediately, once you come out of that again, you should feel an immediately greater sense of lightness or freedom when compared to the other side. And then it goes without saying is that once you've done this, immediately sit down, stay there for a little bit, stand up again, see if it instantly feels better straight away. And then as we move on to the next exercise, we actually want to go looking for tissue restrictions at the back back of the hip to see if restrictions here are asking this tissue to impinge or become dysfunctional when you stand up. So when looking to explore what's going on around the back side of the hip, I don't think anything generally beats the official banded hip capsule stretch. Similarly to the banded kneeling hip flexor stretch, we want to use the band to bias different parts of your hip joint capsule, particularly around the side or the back, to see if any restrictions there are inadvertently asking the front of your hip to become dysfunctional when it's trying to extend and open up when you stand. So the setup is relatively similar. We want the band back up into the top of that hip crease. It's just that this time, instead of facing the band, we're gonna have the band pulling side on. So I'll come around here so you can sort of see me a little bit. But the goal here is to be on all fours with the band pulling at 90 degrees. It's a very simple stretch. We want your opposite leg to go back. And from here, we're gonna do the external rotation version of this. So I'm gonna ask you to rotate your affected side underneath, drop your other knee down to block that. And then what we're trying to do here is keeping your shoulders and hips integrated together. We're going to gently shift your whole body weight back towards the band, imagining that your thigh bone is gently pressing out the back side of your hip. Now just know that it's a subtle movement where your trunk is staying level with the ground. We're not letting your hips drop down and where you break that connection between your hips and your shoulders. We're essentially moving subtly back towards the band, looking for that sense of pressure through the back side of that hip. The great thing about this exercise is all we want to do is we just want to hang out here for 60 seconds to 2 minutes. You can go hunting around for what feels the most relevant tightness for you. You can oscillate in and out of that to try and ask that tissue and encourage that tissue to mobilize faster. But ultimately, we want to spend time in this position, asking that hip capsule tissue towards the back of your hip to free up. Obviously, we can do this on both sides, but the main thing is, as we've been doing, as soon as you've done that, immediately stand up, walk around, see if your hip pain immediately feels better straight away. Because although your hip pain may be exactly where it is when you get up from sitting, the reason why it's there may not necessarily be as obvious as it may seem. So once we've done all that, if you are a member of the channel, the next exercise is just going to help us do a little bit more of a deep dive through the tissue at the front of that hip. So at the end of the day, if you get up from a chair and your hip consistently hurts, please appreciate that it is absolutely a hip discomfort and a hip dysfunction, but the cause of that may come back to something to do with your lower back, and it may actually have a hell of a lot to do with how you're actually sitting while you're sitting. Obviously, if you don't have to sit, please don't. Your best position is always your next position. Spending less time sitting can obviously be a great way to decrease the chances of this type of thing coming back again. And because it's not always practical to replace all of your sitting with complete standing, when you do sit, it is important to pay attention to what impact that may be having on your lower back and the front of your hip as well. And if you did find this video helpful, I just have a few things I would ask of you. The obvious ones, please consider leaving a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, click the hype button below. YouTube prioritizes these things when it's trying to figure out whether to serve this video to other people that may need it. So it would be a great help if you could do those things. Please consider becoming a member if you want more exclusive content from me. But more importantly, if you are struggling with an ache or a pain, especially if it is hip pain when getting up from sitting, please consider booking in an online consultation with me. The link is in the description below. I would love to try and help you figure this out in real time and just make sure that the recommendations are as specific as possible to you and your symptoms. But having said all of that, thank you again for watching. I hope the video was helpful and hope to see you next time.